Why in the world would you possibly want to take a path going back to mediocrity when you can take the path to greatness?
J. Abraham, also known as the $9.4 billion man, the marketing legend of legends, and the mentor to mentors. As the world's highest paid marketing consultant, he has significantly increased the bottom lines of over 10,000 clients in more than 400 industries worldwide. Damon John, star of Shark Tank, says about J. Abraham, "I repeat what he says so that I make myself sound smarter." Also, in a recent Instagram post, Damon said, "An important key to success is a great mentor. It doesn't get any better than my mentor, the legendary J. Abraham."
He's just a marketing master. He is the type of individual that has a mind that thinks on multiple levels. He's a guy that plays three-dimensional chess, metaphorically and quite physically in the way he looks at business.
Using one of his principles that we learned out of 200 helped skyrocket our book Chicken Soup for the Soul to #1 on the New York Times bestseller list.
I believe every human being was born to be great. I believe no human being wants to be average. I believe no human being wants to be mediocre.
Forbes magazine called him the real thing and lists Jay as one of the top 5 executive coaches in the country. He is also a best-selling author and has been featured in USA Today, the New York Times, Inc. magazine, and Success magazine, among many others.
I'm Dave Asprey, CEO of Bulletproof and creator of Bulletproof Coffee. What you probably don't know is that J. Abraham's work has inspired me even when I worked in Silicon Valley, helping to create some of the internet technologies that we use today. His view on marketing is unlike any other human being on earth I've come across. He always sees opportunities in situations that look like there is no other way to do it. His mind is able to see the situation, turn it on its side, look at it from a different angle, and see 10 times more opportunity than you'd ever think of. His books have profoundly influenced my ability to grow Bulletproof, and his personal mentorship and his one-on-one sessions with me have absolutely changed the game for me and for Bulletproof and for our mission to change the world. I'm grateful to Jay for the work that he does, and specifically for the one-on-one mentorship that he's been kind enough to offer me. I would not be serving the world I am today without J. Abraham.
What's up, everybody? This is Damon John from ABC Shark Tank. I'm a panelist and investor, also CEO of Fubu and various other companies, and presidential ambassador of global entrepreneurship. And I have to say that at this point in my life, I probably wouldn't be here without my mentor, J. Abraham. You may know him from his history as a legendary marketer, or his theory on preeminence, or many of his books. And I have to say that through his teachings and what he's done for me, he's taught me how to position myself in very unique positions. What is my unique offering, as well as the ability to communicate and then go after certain target markets. He also finds other ways and revenues and areas that you could tap into your existing customer base and upsell and provide even a better service. Also, his ability to communicate and get directly to the challenges at hand and then find a way to solve it. It's always great to have a solution, but if you're a doctor and you don't have a diagnosis on the problem, then you can't come up with a solution. So I would have to say, if you have the good fortune of being in J. Abraham's presence, if you have the ability to hear such a fast talker who can keep your mind totally thinking at all times, you will absolutely benefit off of it in the greatest way. Life is a series of mentors, and J. Abraham is absolutely the best in that area.
And not only bring myself to the table, but I brought one of my dearest friends and a man I have enormous respect for. This is a gentleman who is a marketing legend. In fact, what made him a marketing legend was he really started out early in his career and decided he wanted to do something unique. He wanted to work with every different type of industry possible and see if he couldn't find unrealized, opportunities for these organizations, revenue opportunities, ways to enhance performance. And the secret to J. Abraham is that literally all over the world, he's worked with, and we'll have to ask him how many industries it is now. I have to get it updated, but I'm sure it's more than 1,000 industries. And what he's done is cross-pollinated. He's discovered that, for example, in the real estate industry, everybody markets the same way. They put out their ads, They do open houses, and they do the same fundamental things as everyone else. And if you go to a different industry, they don't do anything like that. You know, they do something else. They go to trade shows. And what he did best was, by working with so many different organizations, he saw that if you compete with other people and you do the same thing they're doing, and you do it better, you have a tiny competitive advantage. But if you do something no one else is doing, you have an extraordinary competitive advantage. And over the years, and literally decades for him, he's refined that philosophy, and he's the go-to guy now. And I gotta say, if you think of most of the marketing consultants that you probably don't know the name of, they've all been influenced by Jay, including myself. And so I think it'd be really cool. Now, he's a very different approach than I do in terms of language. He has 27 adjectives for every thought he's gonna give you. And so he is incredibly, I mean, he's gonna give you a depth that's extraordinary. And I look at him as somebody that I look as a dear friend, but I also look at somebody who's a mentor to anybody in business. I think he's the premier man when it comes to figuring out how do you take unrealized opportunities, how do you maximize, because I do a lot of things in my life and I pride myself on my skill in this area, but this is all he's done for decade after decade after decade after decade, and he's always getting better. So it's a great privilege to bring out, and I'd like you to give me a giant welcome to Mr. Jay Abraham, my dear friend. Give him a hand.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Oh, I told you it's Jay Abraham, for God's sakes.